Welcome back to Montana this morning. The time now is 6:45 and we're taking a live look from the Stockman Bank weather cam. City's still dark, people already out and about. Let's go ahead and jump into news. We begin in Washington, D.C., where President Joe Biden is defending his decision to ban travel to the U.S. from 8 African countries over concerns about the Omicron variant. We're joined now by reporter Joe St. George. Good morning, Joe. Now, we mentioned the travel restrictions. What else is President Biden doing to try and address this new variant?
You know, to some degree, we're in wait-and-see mode, and the president's in wait-and-see mode to follow the science. Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, they're frantically testing their vaccines against this variant to see how effective is it. If it indeed becomes a problem in the United States, in Montana, as some epidemiologists and public health experts fear variants like this can quickly spread around the globe. Again, the big question is, what do these mutations mean for this vaccine and for vaccines and for this pandemic? Public health officials, the contacts of Dr. Anthony Fauci, are looking at these mutations. Just because there's a lot of mutations associated with this variant doesn't mean they necessarily work well together. What does it mean for the vaccinated? What does it mean for the unvaccinated? About 60% or so in Montana have received at least one shot of the vaccine. So a lot of people in Montana taking a close eye of what's happening here. As far as restrictions, the president seems confident that what he's done is bought time for scientists to understand what exactly we're dealing with here. There has been some pushback by African leaders saying that they're being penalized for discovering this variant and that it could lead to xenophobia long term associated with this pandemic. So it's a bit controversial, but other countries have imposed even stricter restrictions as a direct result of this variant, which is very much unknown as we chat on this Tuesday. Japan, for instance, has closed their borders for most international travel. So the president definitely following the science, and we're waiting to hear more in the coming days from the White House regarding what's next. We expect the president to next address this on Thursday.
And while we have you, we already know that Montana has joined other states in legal challenges to the federal vaccine mandates. That's both for the larger businesses and healthcare workers. So what is the latest on those, and could we see the Supreme Court weigh in on those issues anytime soon?
It is very possible that this is a case that goes all the way to the Supreme Court. In fact, to some degree, it's likely. It's a question about what can the government force you to do. Of course, there have already been in schools around the country, for instance, some mandatory vaccine laws, some vaccine exemptions that must be offered as well. So what's the balance there is something that is going to play out in the legal community. Conservative attorneys generals around the country have been arguing, look, this should be an individual choice and that people should choose to get vaccinated. A lot of public health officials, Democrats here on Capitol Hill, believe this is something we need to mandate because mandates work, they say. If you look at individual workplaces that have mandated vaccines, you've seen a substantial increase in those vaccinated within those workplace populations. So we're not going to get any answers today on this. Likely will be several weeks, but eventually the High Court will probably take this up and we'll get an answer once and for all.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for your time this morning. We always appreciate it. You have a good rest of your day. And even if you aren't going to Africa, the Omicron variant could hamper your travel plans. Many experts are suggesting travel insurance just in case restrictions extend to more places or other countries put bans on travel from the U.S. We spoke to a traveler at the Billings airport on his way to a hunting trip and says the new variant doesn't concern him too much.
It's not something that's the United States has been very exposed to yet. So I don't feel much discomfort about that or worry about that yet.
A representative from Goose Travel Insurance says Omicron isn't the only thing that could get in the way of your next trip. Things like staffing shortages and pilot disputes are canceling flights and upending travel plans. Improvements are being made to your morning commute. The Billings bypass, which will connect Lockwood to the Heights, is on schedule. Crews just finished the roundabout at the intersection of 5 Mile Road and Mary Street, and it's open. That's just part of the multi-year 6-phase project. Now the focus shifts to work on a bridge over the Yellowstone River, which could be very beneficial for motorists.
Yeah, well, a connection between the Heights and Lockwood, a direct connection, will dramatically improve access between the two ends of Billings.
The Yellowstone Bridge is set to open in 2024. The entire $118 million Billings bypass is supposed to be complete by 2026. Now to news on crime in our community. $13,000 in equipment is stolen from a local nonprofit. The executive director of the Billings Community Foundation says someone ransacked their building, stealing computers, iPads, and even a vacuum. Police have a person of interest in the crime, but so far no arrests have been made. The foundation connects donors with local causes. This crime was a big blow to the group, which has been raising money to improve their building since March.
It was just devastating and really just rocked our sense of security and safety. And, we always are trying to make sure, again, that our nonprofit partners and our donors and our community is cared for. And so it was really, really hard to come into that situation.
The foundation will now begin raising money to improve security so something like this doesn't happen again. The trial of Ghislaine Maxwell continues today. Yesterday, prosecutors painted the 59-year-old as a sexual predator who helped groom teenage girls for Jeffrey Epstein's benefit. The defense insists Maxwell is a scapegoat for the crimes Epstein committed. They even questioned the sincerity of the victims set to testify because they received millions from the compensation fund set up by Epstein's estate. If convicted of the most serious of the charges, Maxwell could spend the rest of her life in prison. Pennsylvania prosecutors are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review Bill Cosby's sexual assault case. They want the 84-year-old actor's 2018 conviction restored. They say the state Supreme Court was wrong to overturn it in June on a technicality. Cosby was freed after spending nearly 3 years in prison. Jury selection begins in the trial of Kim Potter, a former Minnesota officer accused of shooting and killing Dante Wright during a traffic stop. She faces manslaughter charges. Potter claims she thought she fired her taser instead of a gun. It will be up to a jury to determine if Potter was reckless or negligent when considering a verdict. Neither charge requires prosecutors to prove an intent to kill. Today, the Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. will hear arguments over the release of White House documents related to the January 6th riot. Attorneys for former President Donald Trump want the court to reverse a federal judge's ruling to turn over his records. A previous judge denied Trump's claim he can use executive privilege. Attorneys for the committee investigating the Capitol protest argue the documents are critical for the congressional investigation. President Biden is still trying to address shipping problems as shopping season heats up. The White House announced new steps to address the backlog at the airports of Long Beach and Los Angeles. That includes eliminating some traffic fees for containers moved on nights and weekends through January. On top of that, the Department of Transportation will extend flexibility on the number of hours some truckers can drive through February. A man is dead after crashing his minivan into a school bus outside of Whitehall. A 7-year-old boy and the driver were the only people in the bus at the time. They were not hurt. The 52-year-old driver was heading west on Highway 2 yesterday morning, missed a curve in the road, crossed the center line, and smashed head-on into the bus. He died at the scene. A female passenger was injured in the crash. Law enforcement says the driver was likely high on drugs. And make sure you check out the Dr. Phil show here on Q2 this afternoon. Today's episode is about Henny Scott, Ashley Loring, Jermaine Charlo, and shines light on Montana's missing and murdered Indigenous people crisis.
One of the things that puzzles me about it is what you guys are saying, these two families are saying, is they're getting non-response from tribal police. Are they just that undermanned?
Tribal police, their hands in a lot of ways are tied. Yes, they're underfunded, chronically underfunded. There's a lack of training, but they are not the ones who have jurisdiction over these cases. It's the federal authorities that have jurisdiction.
Families spoke with Dr. Phil as a call to action, saying Indigenous women feel they have a target on their back. The episode airs at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Miller, I'll have to set my alarm to remind me because that sounds like a very interesting episode. Definitely a issue here in Montana and, you know, in and around reservations all across the nation and Canada too. So, yes, we'll be watching. All right, tell us what's going on outside right now.
All right, well, windy is the big story for the next couple of days. On top of that, we're going to be warmer than normal. Could see some record temperatures tomorrow and Thursday, and then we're going to cool right back down again. So today we'll go with partly cloudy skies, windy conditions. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, staying windy, then mostly sunny on Thursday. I've seen some models try to push more clouds in, so that actually may change. Windy, and it's going to be chilly after we see the possibility of record warmth Wednesday and Thursday. How about that? It is a quiet start here in Billings. You can see downtown there, the city's starting to come alive. Great shot from the Stockman Bank weather cam. Warming up a bit, 40 right now. Feels like 30 at Logan. Humidity going down. The moisture starting to decrease just a bit. Winds out of the west at about 20 miles an hour. Again, that's going to be our big story the next couple of days. Quickly, some temperatures across the area. 33 in Miles City, 40 in Forsyth, 33 in Hardin, Broadus at 36, over in Livingston at 41, where you really have some strong winds heading your way. Wow. Sheridan, you're right at the freezing mark at 32, a little warmer in Cody, though, sitting at 41. Across the state, Helena 33, Great Falls at 46. Missoula, who saw a record high yesterday, you're sitting at 34 right now, right at the freezing mark in Dillon. On the flip side, on the other side there, we've got Glendive at 28, and up in Williston at 26. So we're starting to see some of those strong gusts from Cut Bank, Great Falls to Livingston, and those gusts will increase as we go along today. Livingston could see gusts up to 70 miles an hour, not only today, but we're going to hold on to that possibility all the way through Thursday. Here in Billings, we could see gusts up to 40 miles an hour, if not stronger. Miles City, Roundup, you'll be in the same boat as us. Lewistown, you could see some gusts 45 to 50 miles an hour. So the big story, the bigger place really, Livingston down along the Beartooth foothills. That's where we have that wind advisory in effect, where again, gusts 70 miles an hour are expected over the course of the next few days. High pressure mainly keeping us dry. There is still a lot of moisture off to our west, so we're going to see some moisture, maybe some snow and some rain there. Not really going to hit our area. Maybe Marr County has a chance to see a few sprinkles later today. Here in Billings, really our next opportunity. I think even some models are trying to give us maybe Thursday, Friday. I think maybe the first part of next week, our chance to see some rain and maybe some snow mixing in, as well as we are going to start to cool down behind a cold front that's going to drop through Friday morning. So Livingston, you're going to get up to about 51 today, 62 tomorrow, and Thursday you'll be in the low 60s. 2 days there where you have a chance to see record temperatures before you cool down as we head toward the weekend. Cody, a high today of 52. Could see some records tomorrow if you hit that 59, maybe Thursday as well. You'll cool down behind the front too. Miles City, a high today of 53. Knocking on the door of 70 tomorrow, of 69 Thursday, mid-60s, 2 days where you can see some records, and then back into the 40s and 30s as we head into the weekend. Sheridan getting up to 56 today. Look at that, Wednesday and Thursday into the 70s. Definitely a shot to bust some records there. Here in Billings, we'll go with a high today of 54. Mid-60s Wednesday and Thursday. If we hit that 65 tomorrow, that ties a record. If we hit 66 on Thursday, that would break the record, and then that cold front comes through on Friday morning. Cools us back down into the 40s. Maybe not get out of the 30s on Sunday. We're going to hold on to those cooler temperatures at least through the early part of next week. Next couple of nights, milder than normal in the 40s, and then we'll be in the 30s and 20s as we move forward. Victoria.
Every time you knock on the desk like
that.
Did I
scare you? I'm sorry.
No, I just imagine somebody at home saying, honey, go check the front door. Or
who's knocking on the door at
mighty,
5 minutes to 7 in the morning?
Yeah, or the mighty little guard dogs inside the house just barking, thinking someone's at the front door.
I'm sorry.
Anyways, it is time for this month's golf giveaway. So let's check out. The prize is the Callaway Apex UW, valued at $300. And the winner is Anthony Moda from Billings. Congratulations, Anthony. And if you would like to register to win next month's prize, just head on in to Mitchell Golf over on Montana Avenue and sign yourself up, and we might be announcing your name here on Montana this morning. So congratulations. Hope you enjoy your
nice little early
prize.
Christmas gift there.
Yeah, yes, it is. And of course, today is Giving Tuesday, so you can get in touch with your favorite local nonprofit and find out if they're accepting donations. They probably are, and figure out how to make a safe donation to them, because your support means everything, and every little bit does certainly go a long way.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. Miller, thanks for coming back to work today.
Okay. Glad to be here.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day.